Shelby decided in high school that prior to high school we raced a lot, that he wanted to be a mechanical engineer, and he was accepted to U of L's JB Speed School of Engineering in Louisville. We had spent most of our life as a family racing ever since he was 7. And I guess the apple didn't fall far from the tree. Shelby's mechanical ability far exceeded mine, plus he had the knowledge of just the engineering side of it. And me and him were two peas in a pod. We could be working together and be mad at each other, throwing tools, doing whatever. But then as the day went on, there was never, I'm sorry or are you okay? We just knew that it was fine. I left work, went home, and when I got home, Shelby was sitting outside in his car, his Mustang, on the street, just sitting there. My wife went outside and talked to him. She came back in and she said, "Mark, you really need to go out and talk to Shelby. He's making threats, he's gonna kill himself." And I remember looking up at her and telling her that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life. It was a topic that wasn't addressed. Shelby had happy days, Shelby had sad days. Again, Shelby wore his heart on his sleeve. And whenever things were going good between him and this girl, things were good, and when they were bad, they were bad. And Shelby was depressed. One night, my youngest one, Cody, received a phone call that Shelby was in trouble and that I needed to go with him. And for a second time, he had said that he was going to kill himself. I just told him I couldn't deal with it. I was so wrapped up into everything that was going on in my world. I was so keyed up that I didn't even go help Shelby when he was struggling the most out on Russell Cave Road, threatening to run his car into a tree. Then on December the 12th, I hadn't heard from Shelby, but he called me up and he said, "Hey, are you all home?" And I said, "Yeah." He said, "I'm gonna come over and visit for a little bit." We were talking about different things, talking about the sadnesses, talking about different things that was going on in his life. And he shared with us, you know, how he felt and what he was going through, and we felt really good about that conversation. Unfortunately, Tuesday afternoon on the 15th, I had been trying to get a hold of Shelby, and I called his roommate to see if Shelby was at home, and David proceeded to tell me that he didn't know that he was just getting ready to get off exit 113 and go to the house. He told me, he said, "Mark, I need you to come over here." And I said, "What's wrong?" Well, finally, after asking him 2 or 3 times, he told me, he didn't want to tell me on the phone, but he told me Shelby was dead. It's mind-opening, it's surreal when you see a coroner's van backed up at your family's door. But it didn't come real until I could tell that that white body bag was full. So there was a lot of decisions that had to be made, and the decisions that were made was we had to go ahead and buy 4 plots. We had to bury Shelby, and that's where we decided we were going to be buried. A lot of money had to be come up with fairly quickly. This is the reason why we started Shelby's Way. When somebody does pass away by suicide, more times than not, unless you pay high premiums, life insurance don't cover the cost of a funeral by suicide. I started realizing the stigma and just the overall lack of concern, or the fear of talking about suicide and talking about mental health. I just didn't want to educate. I also wanted to let people know that suicide is preventable just through us. We all have a goal and a purpose in this. You're equipped to go out and help with what's going on out in our community. And the one thing that's going on in our community is mental health issues, and people are struggling with depression. One of the biggest ways that we gain support and financial help is through you. Help us to end the stigma and reach out to others and help others.